I will now go and present the varying degrees of importance, I would say, of what I am looking to explain on what seems unexplained. So, I have a visual representation for tiers. The video's in reverse, but I can read in reverse just fine. But I'll just say it anyway. So I'll explain the errors on the side there, but we have on the fourth tier and the least important tier a phenomena where I will go and have a daydream, which is quite normal, obviously, but the daydreams, or these ones specifically that I'm looking to report, are what you could only describe as violent, hence the name up here, or down here rather, that's how YouTube does it now. And usually when it happens, it's not that I'm not aware of my body, but rather I'm more aware of the daydream than what's happening in reality, or near equal amounts. The reason this is on the least amount important is because it's self-explanatory on what it is. It's not my thoughts, obviously. It's just strange things that happen for seemingly no reason. But I think it could be important to go and explain anyway. On the third tier, we have more of a recent thing, I would say. I've always had a bad memory in my life. I've never been diagnosed with short-term memory loss, but I don't need to be to understand that I can't remember the days at all or anything. But the third tier is what I could describe as having false memories, or kind of like a deja vu. For instance, a good way to explain this, I asked my mother to where's the microphone that my dad uses to take his Zoom meeting calls. However, I got a response that she had no idea my dad had one. I talked to my dad myself, and he said he's never used a microphone at all. He's been on only Zoom meetings only twice. Zoom meetings line up. However, it's enraged in my memory that there is a very specific microphone with a stand that he used. However, to everyone else in the house, it's non-existent. Now, this should be normal since, I forget things recently. However, fabrication and forgetting things are completely different. It could be that they did have a microphone, and Dad was the only one who knew he had one, and he forgets things sometimes like me, so he could have forgotten it. However, I would like to go and report this, as I feel like there are many other opportunities that are not going into my head right now, of things I think that happen that haven't. Like, thinking that something was super recent or super long ago, when it's the complete opposite. This tier is also for same memory phenomena of extreme deja vu, of experiencing something once again. It's kind of like not not doing the same thing twice, but more necessarily having experienced that event already in my life. It's impossible, but again, it's kind of an interesting phenomena. It might lead to something. Might figure out if I'm the one who's forgetting these things, or if people just don't pay attention all the time. Alright. The second most important tier, I would say, would be the one where I walk by something and I see a completely different existing thing, and then I'll turn to it and then see a completely different object. This thing can range from being something barely being able to see by the eye, a glob, or it could resemble maybe a person or something that's very easy to tell. It seems quite detailed to be out of sight, but when you turn to it, it's no longer there. This one has always happened, I guess, in my life, but it's happening more frequently now, so might be a good job to check up on it. And in the first and final tier, it's something strange, bizarre, or unexplainable that I see as clear as my own hand in front of me, almost. Now, to explain the things on the side. The things that are on the side are basically what you could go and describe as solutions to what have happened, or previous ones that I know, because obviously, for every single weird thing I see, it's not going to have the exact same thing. So, like, I don't know, for instance, if I kept having memory loss of something, the explanation for every time I forget something or seem to forget something isn't necessarily just my self-forgetting thing. It could be simply something that the other person forgot on the other hand. Yeah, I assume it's my own because I have a history of not remembering things. So, on the very bottom tier, we have just daydreams. Self-explanatory. It's a daydream that happens. And there's nothing more to it. Second one, we have simply deja vu, the feeling you've experienced something before. Deja vu doesn't really explain the complete fabrication, but it's kind of in the same line of feeling like you had an experience that didn't exist. The second tier, simply bad vision. I mean, I do have glasses. I don't have terrible vision, but it could simply just chalk up to that of sides of my eyes not seeing as well as the front. And then the first tier, well, that one I don't have much of what someone would say a logical explanation. I have schizo-man, which I don't know it right there, but I guess technically speaking, if someone who would have diagnosed schizophrenia, that is a product of the mind only, wouldn't really realize it at first. So I put it as there's a possibility. I mean, I'm a scientist, and I'm supposed to be open to multiple possibilities and experiment with them, even if I know for a fact it's not right. And then the one we have next to it is the word demons. The reason I wrote this is because when I was a smaller child, I remember clearly going and seeing such things. Meant to torment me. And, even though I'm saved, I have the Holy Spirit in me, they obviously can't hurt me because of it, but you can still see some pretty messed up stuff. Reason why that's top priority is, well, quite obvious. I'd like to know if I'm seeing things, if I'm insane, or if it's supernatural. I guess there's no difference really if it is demons or schizoman, as I wrote here, but it could be interesting to find out. So then I can know if, I guess, other people can believe in me if I say something. Yeah. If someone does happen to come across this, I would like to stress that it is always the best choice to go over multiple theories, even though you might think they may be untrue. It's very important. If you don't, you can be very close-minded and often wrong. So it's best to experiment. As of today, nothing really I want to note down. Not that, like, I don't want to say, just like nothing really too much out of the ordinary. I will update, I guess, later. Thinking about like having names for the tiers, but actually, just the one I 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess is fine. And I'm not going to keep this paper, but I have this video and I have the things on the side. So if I forget, I can remember how to categorize it correctly. I don't think there's much of a point of categorization, but then again, because there's so much a point of categorization, I don't see why not to do it.